Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. So, hope everyone's doing well. Got a quick, gonna call this like almost a hatch reading. Gonna continue these hatches. It's gonna be kind of what's happening next for you. Abstract one today, so get yourself strapped in. Pile number one, pile number two, and pile number three. Start off with pile number ones. Okay, pile number ones. Continuing the hatch today. See what comes through for you. What's going on next? What do you see? What do you feel? Quite a long reading, this one, isn't it? There's a lot here. I don't think I've ever done a reading where, at least in this hatch style, where there's been like so much overlap. What do you see? What do you feel? I don't know, maybe don't know if I've got the time to do it, pile number ones, but like you see where there's so much happening, like overlaps here. Kind of squint your eyes and see if you can kind of see anything. I was getting the urge to tell you that, like, see if anything. Squint your eyes and see if, like, you can see anything, like, specifically in this area here. Like, think of that, maybe that first word that comes to mind when you squint your eyes. Other than that, I was kind of getting, so there was, the main energy here was like near miss. It's a near miss of something. So I'm laughing there, probably nervously, but kind of no, like enjoying the humor of life. Near miss like could be like a near death experience. Don't worry, it's a near death experience, but there's something like that, or you might have actually experienced that before, and it's making you more like maybe you're appreciating life more. You've had like a near death experience recently. That's probably on the extreme side. And then on the less extreme side, this is the energy of like a near miss. Like you can kind of insert the analogy. That could be anything. That could be like dodging a bullet with a relationship choice, like a romantic relationship. A near miss could be like a financial decision that you've made. Like you could have, like it's kind of giving me the energy like you could have gambled and it could have gone badly for you. You know, you're reflecting on that. It's like you had an opportunity to like gamble, but you didn't. So it's like near miss. I'm getting the energy of, you know, like when it's hard because you can't see my face now, but like, you know, when you wipe your forehead and you go, whew, like, that was a close one. That was a close one. It was like that energy. So there's something, again, that's going to align for my pole number ones where you're going to say, yeah, something like that just happened to me. You had a near miss. You kind of dodged a bullet with something. Also, this energy, it might mean, or this drawing, I should say, it gave me the vibe of a lotus. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but I was getting like the lotus leaves. I think, don't know, is that the lily pad, or I don't know, like, I don't really know how a lotus looks. If you asked me to draw a lotus, I think I'd probably struggle to draw it. So I can't tell you like the details of the lotus, but it reminds me of the lotus shape. So I'm not really this could be a poke for my own investigation as well, because I'm not really sure what the spiritual meaning of a lotus is either, so I feel like there's maybe a metaphor in there for you, pole number ones. Like, I guess the only one that comes to mind is I believe that lotuses, they do grow from the mud, like, so it's one of those flowers which really has to kind of almost like fight for its position, it you could say almost similar to the rose, it's a beautiful flower, but it has to fight. Like, it comes from the dirty bed of the water, and then it rises up and it becomes the beautiful lotus. It comes from the mud. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Like, someone might tell me that actually lotuses don't grow that way, but that's the analogy that I have for the lotus. It could be wrong. I feel like pole number ones, have a little look into that, and like even just Google what the spiritual meaning of a lotus is. So typically as well, I imagine the lotuses, or visualize the lotuses to be pink. So like they're gonna give you, it's gonna that correlation that I've just given, that's gonna give you a lot about this vibe and what's happening next. So the lotus, the pink, you could even say like the lotus. Is it the lily pads that it produces as well? Isn't that funny? Because that's a lily pad, and that a different plant. So lily pads are coming through too. Lily and lotus. Your name might even begin with L. Pole ones, like L. I'm getting L energy. Lily and lotus. Lorraine. Laura. I guess Laurie. Lawrence. Larry. It's getting Ola. Is Ola a name? Ola. Or maybe that's Ola, like hello, Spanish. Someone might be Spanish out there. Hola. I'm just getting ole as well. Ole, ole. I think that's Spanish again. Ole, ole. Anyways, I'm going to leave this reading here. Pile number one. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. What's it? Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Okay, pole number twos. It's not the first time that kind of hatch has come through. You might recognize it, pole number twos. It's extremely precise. Wow. You know, it's like abstract reading, but that was just try and center that for you a little bit. That was just on the money, wasn't it? It's as center as I can get it, I'm afraid, but damn. Okay, part number 2. I'm getting the energy here to first like reel off some kind of like careers. This is really about precision. I feel like some of you could be, well, this is definitely like the jewelry makers again. This could be like a pendant, couldn't it? And I'm also getting someone who like turns something. Could be like pottery makers or something like that, turning. Like you could be plumbers as well. Some of you could be like, things that turn, like you could work with some kind of mechanics. I'm also getting kind of almost like spiritual too. I know this is very jumping all over the place, but it's just how it's coming through today. I was getting spiritual because this is like, it reminds me of some form of like ancient symbol. It might trigger some of you actually, but this does remind me of a little bit like the Crusade. The Crusades, or Crusaders. So that's going to align with some of you. Some of you it's going to trigger, but some of you it's going to be right down your path. You know, like, you could say Christianity, but it's almost like ancient Christianity. You know, it's like, it's kind of further back. So yeah, something like that for some of you in like spiritual, religious sector you might work in or be in, heavily involved in. I'm getting drawn to still talk about like this turning energy. Like some of you really like we work in something that turns. Like, I'm almost getting like water energy as well. Like I said, plumbing before, but like it's almost like a valve, isn't it? Some of you might you might have a name that begins with V. Like valve reminds me of the name Val, like Valerie. Or Van. Like I think there's quite a lot of Dutch people with like Van in their name. Van. So you might have like Van in, you might be Dutch. Victor. This is like Victor energy. Victoria. You know, like this almost gives me this would be like the pattern of Victoria, like Victorian pattern, you know, like wallpapers and stuff. This would be a Victorian pattern, so you might work in like decorations or pattern work as well. I was also getting, funnily enough, Victoria's Secret that just came through. Like this might be, I could be completely wrong, but it might be similar to like Victoria's Secret, the Victoria's Secret logo. That's making me laugh, but is what it is. I've got no idea what that looks like. Or maybe maybe it's not Victoria's Secret, but like take apart the words as well. It's like Victoria's Secret. Do you know what I mean? It's like this has got that energy somehow. And if it's not, related to that. Like, I think the wallpaper was giving me like that ding ding energy too. So you might work in like textures, pattern work. Maybe something to do with like running, because I was getting like the energy of like running water as well. So you might run. Yeah, that's probably like the longest reading I've ever got for like just almost career. It was like almost confirmations for people. So like the energy I was getting was like spirit was just giving me the energies that were coming through. Like, so these are the people that you're dealing with. But your message is to do with precision. So what's happening to you next is, you see how I drew this? There was, everyone to their own opinion, but I'd say that was really confidently drawn. And I think that's maybe something that you're going to be doing, pole number twos. There was something effortless about that, which was, it surprised me because I thought the energy was going to look a lot more like the pick a piles. So that energy, I believe, is a reflection of what you're doing. How that came through was the mirror of what you're going to be doing. So whatever career you're in, there's a sense here of like you're maybe, what's next for you is you're moving into a stage where you're going to do something with precision and effortlessly, confidently. I feel like for some of you, this could be something new as well. It would be the example, right, of, okay, here's a good one. You spent like your whole life learning acoustic guitar. And then one day you're in the music studio and this band walks into the music studio. Maybe it's like a real well-known band just to spice up the story and make it a bit more interesting. Maybe it's a band that is one of your favorite bands. And they come into the studio and they say, oh man, like, we've just lost our bass player, we need a new bass player. And you're playing on your acoustic guitar. And they say, hey, can, whatever your name is, Sally or Bob, hey, can you cover? Can you come in and help us? And you say, oh, sorry, I don't play the bass, I play the acoustic guitar. And then they say, oh, it's okay, like, I'm sure you're going to pick it up real quickly. And you're like hesitant, you're like, no, I play the acoustic. And they're like, oh, please, you'll be doing us a favour. And there's something in you which goes, okay, I'll try the bass. And you pick up the bass and the band starts playing and you absolutely nail it. Like, what do they say? Duck to the water. You are like precision with this bass. And that's like the analogy that I'm getting that's coming through here. You could swap that story out and say that this band or whatever was looking for the acoustic guitar player and you just slotted in, and that story would still make sense. But I feel like for some of you, it's like this slight pivot. There's a slight pivot energy here where it's something slightly different, but you're going to be like a duck to water with it. So, like I said, you might not have been pointed out in terms of one of those career paths that I mentioned, But for anyone who it didn't resonate with those career paths, just remember there's someone out there who probably it did, and that message was for them. So just remember that when you're listening to these readings. Not everything is for you. It's kind of just a collective energy. So part number 2 is I hope you got something from that. I hope you got something from that analogy. Good luck on your journey. It sounds like things are starting to get exciting for you. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Okay, pile number 3s. Kind of getting a bit more like a wavy energy here. It's weird because I'm hatching. Do you know what? I think I've seen what was just happening there. It's a damn hand. It's pretty damn abstract, but it's a hand, I think. So yeah, it's giving me hand energy. Holding. What's happening next for you is you're holding. Holding is the key word. Holding something, or see, it's very important for me, the way that this is coming through. It's very important to like position. So it's almost like cupping as well. So it's not so much the hand that's the key to this drawing, it's the position of it. And it's giving me the energy of cupping, which, at the start, I'm sure I said that this was like a wavy energy, so it's like watery energy. So much water in these damn readings. Crazy. Guess we're dealing with like intuition and like emotions a lot, aren't we? So it's not really surprising, but god damn. See, I'm a fire sign, so this I can't do this forever, y'all. All this damn water. Alright, so file number 3s. File number 3s. Cup in. So cup energy, cup, and holding. See, I want you to think about this in terms of like pile 3s, even position your hand in this way, and think about like what that makes you feel. So like there's almost 2 camps, and it's funny because these readings have really been going into like 2 camps recently. It's not in every pile, but it's almost like we're a little bit divided here in terms of the energies. But like on one camp, we've got almost like the honourable victory energy. We've got the person at the Olympics who gets gold, and they're lifting up their medal, and they're proud, they're happy, they're glorious, they're a winner. They won fair and square. They're proud of this moment, and it's an honourable moment. And then there's another energy which is like, it's reminding me, I don't think you can disagree with me, pile number threes, but there's something a little bit of like a villainy energy coming through with this one. Like the fingers are very much like the character of, like the villain who gets their arm chopped off and they have to replace it with like a metal spiky hand, or like the ice queen with the long fingernails. Now, no shade if you're in that energy, because I think there is a time and a place, but just to make it clear and honest with how I'm reading this energy, I feel like there is two camps here. So like it's quite funny actually, because quite literally, pile number threes, the two types of people who are listening to this, like you might be, there's almost like a mirroring here. It's like, this is almost like the rival energy, which is really bizarre to be reading for that, but it's almost like, like the best villains are the villains who can match against the hero. They're strong, basically. So there's some kind of energy of that coming through, but more importantly, the message for both of you is, this is the energy of like, I guess, look, so this just came through as a download, right? I feel like pole number threes, I feel like what's next for you is you're going to have some form of test, and the test, and it's funny because this energy has come through in another reading, but the test is going to be something along the lines of, you've got the opportunity to hold something, and it's literally like, are you going to crush that thing or are you going to hold it? I think that's going to be the deciding factor of like what side you're going to fall on. The villain in this story crushes. It's almost like there's something delicate, like I'm getting here as well, like it could even be your own heart. You have your own heart in your hands. Now, if you crush your own heart, there's no going back. You will have the superpower of being like a cold ass bitch or a cold ass killer. But there is no going back from that. And if you hold your heart, you're going to have the opportunity of being, the gentle lover, the gentle, lovingly kind Persephone. And if you're the masculine, you may be the honourable, kind king. We can throw like strong and mighty in there as well, so you don't sound too soft, like too much of a wet wipe. But that's the story, right? You've got your own heart in your hand. How are you playing that? And now, I don't know, like both do have their ups and their downs, like I'd love to say that everyone should go into the camp of holding that gentle heart. I'd love to say that, but I know that's not how the world goes. So I feel like there's some of you you're gonna have that decision, but I feel like the warning for some of you is the most important thing is the not going back. I do really feel that in my spirit. It's like if you are deciding that route, it's like there's no going back from that. I just got some analogies come through, but I think they were just like too gruesome for like YouTube. But I guess the the one that's not too gruesome, which won't get me like a bunch of strikes and stuff, is like it is like the limb cutting. It's the heart, isn't it? It's like I think it actually is quite self-evident. The heart is a good analogy. It's like once you splatter that thing in your hands, and it's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's like you would think that this analogy is talking about someone else's heart, but it's your own. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like you normally hold someone else's heart in your hand, but it's like you're holding your own heart, pole number threes. So what option do you choose? You know?